This is the Aventon AVENTURE, and it's one of the most popular fat tire electric bikes out there. But at just a tick under $2,000, it's also one of the most expensive budget-friendly electric bikes. So in this video, we're gonna dive in and explore the AVENTURE and see whether or not it's worth the money. Why would you buy the AVENTURE over anything else out there? First observations on this side mount battery. This is actually super convenient for getting the battery. Boom! So 2 thumbs up on that. Wow, look at that screen. Headlight, see if there's a brake light. Yep. Going to do the hill test, the super steep hill test on the Aventon AVENTURE. Pedal assist 5, full throttle. Test out what kind of torque this thing has. All right. So it can almost do it under throttle only. So I'm actually gonna do this hill test one more time with a little bit of a rollout because of the way the pedal assist works. It just doesn't like ramp on the power right away. So with a little tiny bit of a running start, the AVENTURE can make it up. So we're on our way down to the beach right now, and we'll ride this bike on the sand and see how it performs on the sand. Let me tell you about the pedal assist modes right now though. If you put it on pedal assist 0 and give it throttle, nothing happens. Bump it on to 1, and the power ramps on slowly. There's kind of pros and cons to the way this throttle works. It really eases on the power, but like the benefit is it's not gonna like jerk you around and like almost throw you out the back of the bike. So out of the box, I am kind of finding this delayed power delivery a little bit annoying, but it's you know, it's like a safety thing. So here, I'm gonna press the throttle down. It really eases on that power until you start to feel it. So pedal assist 1, or assist level 1, regardless of what assist level you're on, apparently, this thing will take you up to 20 miles an hour. So this is on 1. If I bump it on up to all the way to 5, it makes no difference in how much throttle the thumb throttle is giving me here on the left side. We're almost about have to try out those brakes there for that garbage truck. We'll do a brake test here in a little bit. So let's ramp these gears up to 8 to get through this light. So 8, and we're on pedal assist 5 now. So out of the box, pedal assist 5 will cut you off at 20. We're gonna need to log in and change that setting before I ride out here on the street. I guess we have to get the app, pair, scan the QR code, speed limit. We'll just go ahead and bump it up to 51. New max speed, let's see. We're gonna need the speed here riding in traffic on this main road. So it's gonna make for more fun, but it's gonna hurt our range. See how fast we can get it up to. So we're doing 28, 29, 30, nice, 31, dang. All right, now we're gonna do a 0 to top speed test here. I weigh 195 pounds, throttle assist only. We're on pedal assist 5. Not sure if it makes a difference in how much power it delivers, but ready, go. So power ramps up, 5, 10, 13, 14, 18, 20, and it cuts you off. So it gets up to 20 pretty respectably quick, not bad at all. So it is a class 3 electric bike. You know, the throttle will help you up to 20, and then you can get assistance up to 28 technically, although we've already seen it goes faster than 28, which I think is awesome. I don't know if there's a way to log into the settings here and increase the amount of assistance it will give you. So without pedaling, I don't think you'll get any faster acceleration than I just showed you, other than if you weigh less than me. So I want to talk a little about the throttle lag, how the power kicks on slowly, or gently I should say. That's going to end up saving you a lot of battery as well. So at a 48 volt 15 amp hour battery, 720 watt hours, this is not a particularly large battery on this bike. For fat tire e-bikes, we oftentimes see batteries definitely larger than 720 watt hours. It's kind of typical to see, you know, it's not uncommon to see like 18 amp hours or 20 amp hours on a bike of this size. So we'll see what kind of range I get out of it today. I think they claim 45 miles is what you would see on this bike. We'll see about that. This is a comfortable bike to ride. I'm enjoying it. It's balanced. The geometry of it's nice. I can easily just take my hands off the handlebars, and I feel comfortable in the cockpit here and just kind of cruising along. You know, the motor's just kind of doing the work for me. I'm doing a little bit of exercise, so it's a nice bike for sure. So under pedal assist 2, it looks like it's capped me out at about 15 miles an hour. If I put it on 3, pedal assist will take me up to 20. Up and on the pedal assist 4. Feel that power come on, pretty strong. Taking me all the way up to 20, 24, 25. And then we got a little downhill here, but pedal assist 5 top speed. Oh geez. 30. Can easily pass the traditional cyclist. Yeehaw! I think I can make this light. Coming in hot. All right, we have arrived. Gear number 8 is not totally aligned out of the box. It'd be a quick, simple fix. 29, 30. I love that this bike will help you beyond 30 miles an hour. Holy crap, this thing is so fast. This is unnecessary. 32.7. Yeah, it'll go about 33. My goodness. To comment on the lag of the pedal assist, when I start to turn the pedals over, I'll tell you when it starts actually helping me. Pedaling now, and now it's ramping on. So again, now I'm pedaling. Now it starts to ramp on. Now we're at full power. So there's a bit of a lag, which, you know, has kind of 2 implications. One, it's a little annoying that there is a lag because you don't get that power right away. But 2, it makes it a little more safe so that you don't get those abrupt surges of power, which is really a big complaint amongst these e-bikes, because I reviewed a lot of fat tire e-bikes, 750 watt bikes just like this. Some of them are honestly kind of dangerous the way they deliver all of the power and torque right away. 750 watts is a lot of power, and if it just gives it to you all at once, it can really jar you around, jerk you around, and make for an unpleasant ride. Nice and nimble, really, for a fat tire e-bike anyway. I'm gonna try this fork out. I'm gonna crank it up a little bit. Not all the way locked out, but almost locked out. Upstairs. Oh, that's too much locked out. It's actually locked, even though it says it's not locked. So the Zoom fork, it's fine. It's about as basic of suspension as you're gonna see, really. Hello, doggy. Yeah, I mean, this fork's fine. I've definitely seen a better fork. I've actually seen a dual crown hydraulic fork on a bike that costs less than this on another fat tire e-bike. Also had a bigger battery. Throw it down, almost. All right, I'm gonna try it on these stairs. Don't feel quite as confident as the last bike I rode down these. It can do it. I wouldn't really recommend riding this thing downstairs, but it can be done. You got this, bro. You got this, bro. Almost. Take it for a little ride off-road here. I need to loosen that suspension up. Now it's bottoming out too easily, though. Throttle only. So, I mean, it's just front suspension, no rear suspension. Feel a lot of the bumps coming up through the rear seat. Let's give it a try in the sand. A little range update here. Tab over the info. We've been out here 25 minutes almost. 5.5 miles and at 92% battery according to the display. Man, what a beautiful day out here in the middle of December. Let's take it out on the sand and see how these fat tires hold up. I'm sure they'll do just fine. The more interesting thing will be, how does the battery hold up? So 6.8 miles, 90% battery. We're gonna have to drop it down a gear or 2 here. Oh, so it does have the mountain bike style downshifter, which is nice. So you can downshift more than 1 gear at a time. It seems like about 3 gears at a time. And through this loose pack sand, as expected, with this monstrous 750 watt continuous output motor, the Aventon AVENTURE can take us on an adventure. And it's nice that the bike does have these fenders to prevent the sand from kicking up on us. I have it on pedal assist 5 right now and down in gear 1. I can actually bump it up to like gear 2 right now. Yep, going 14, 15 miles an hour, this thing can dominate. It's all about the tires out here in the sand. You need these big fat tires. They can take you anywhere. So let's see if I can get back up the hill now. Drop it down a gear. So this is slightly uphill. It's hard to tell looking at the camera probably. But dude, this thing just rips right through this sand, no problem. Sweet. Wow. Motor's kicking in, we're picking up speed. Man, this bike is fun. Let's see what that did to the battery. Because that was kind of, it's always hard on the motor riding through this. 88%, so we were out there for about a half mile. 86%. 85%? It's making up its mind here. 84%. Little voltage sag, 83%. 82%, 81%. It's just a little voltage sag going on. It'll probably bounce back up here in a minute. 82%. So yeah, flooring it in the loose sand takes a beating on the battery. So one of the things I don't love about this bike is it doesn't come with any sort of racks out of the box. So I mean, my tripod, I just kind of have bungees strapped on down there. Now the benefit is it is like a little bit lighter. Now, you can't really call this a light bike at 73 pounds, but by not having that rack back there, it makes it a little bit lighter and also a little bit easier to just kind of swing your leg over without hitting it. Let's just run this thing over here if I can. Oh yeah. These things are like monster trucks. By the way, the battery voltage or the battery percentage has recovered to 85%. Let's go ahead and crank out a little bit of high speeds again on this thing. I find it interesting when you hold down the throttle, it will cut you off at 20, even when I'm pedaling, but I let off the throttle and I'm pedaling and now it'll let me access those higher speeds now with it unlocked. I just love that you can get like an extra 3 miles or 4 miles an hour on this bike compared to most fat tire e-bikes. They'll cut you off at 28. There's probably a good reason why they do. Slow it down. One important question to ask yourself is why buy an Aventon AVENTURE over other fat tire electric bikes, considering this one costs a little bit more than most other fat tire e-bikes? Well, to answer that question, this is a known brand. This is like a fairly well-known brand. Aventon sells their bikes in local bike shops all around the country. So if you run into problems with this bike down the road, it's likely if you bring the Aventon into a bike shop, they'll be much more likely to work on this bike rather than if you buy an unknown brand of e-bike. I've read a lot of stories on the internet about people showing up to bike shops with unknown brand bikes to bike shops and the bike shop basically just rejecting the bike. They won't work on it at all if something goes wrong. So you are paying a little bit of a premium buying the brand name Aventon, but there are benefits that come along with it. So let's do a little bit of a brake test here. I think these brakes are pretty well bedded in. We'll see how the Zoom brakes work. I expect they'll work good. The levers do feel great to grab onto. It's a nice like little 2-finger hook-in design there. And then we'll turn this whole thing around, ride back and see what kind of range we end up getting. All right, now what we're gonna do is a brake test from 20, which is easy to do on this bike. Just hold down the throttle here and brake. 20, 21, 20, and stop. Brakes on this bike are pretty darn good, especially if you lean your weight back. The tread though, one thing, that tread really sheds. Well, so currently we are 10.1 miles into this ride and 72% on the battery. And now what we're gonna do is take the Aventon AVENTURE to the California Incline and try that hill. So earlier we tried this bike on the 20% grade. The California Incline is a 7% grade. So we'll go ahead, throw it on pedal assist 5 here, drop it down a gear 2. And with just kind of cruising up here. I'll do throttle only. The bike can definitely maintain the little loop-de-loop. So overall, I'd have to say this bike does not have like the strongest torque of any bike I've tried, but starting from a stop here, we'll go ahead and just smash on the throttle. California incline, 7% grade. I weigh 195 pounds. Battery is at 69% right now, and we're picking up speed, no problem. So 7% incline. This bike can get up to probably max speed of 20 under throttle only. Yeah. And to give you an idea of what kind of climb we just did, there's where we started, right down there. The Aventon AVENTURE can handle it no problem. Now, if you're wondering if this bike has regen brake, regenerative braking to put some juice back in the battery with brakes, the answer is no. So I did want to mention, if this review is helping you and you've decided you want to buy this bike, you can help support Tail Hobby TV by purchasing through the link below this video in the description box. Any sort of discount I can offer you will be available in that link as well. Also, if you're enjoying the video, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment down below. But we'll continue on with this review and see how the range pans out. So earlier in this ride, you know, I've kind of just been using this bike to cruise and not really pedal much, but I just cranked the seat height up to the proper length for me. I'm 6'5", and I don't have the seat all the way on maximum, but I am getting the proper stretch of my leg there. So this bike definitely in the large frame does fit a 6'5" dude. And it feels good. This is like a nice, comfortable riding position. Even with the saddle cranked all the way up this high, the handlebars match like the seat height pretty well. Dude, I'm just flying. This bike is insane. So one minor complaint here, and I do have a size 14 shoe. This is a large frame. If I have my foot properly positioned on the pedal, it won't hit. It's close, it won't hit. If I do slide my foot a little bit further forward than it should be, it can hit the tire. It's happened to me a couple times, so just something to be aware of. It says we're at 60% now on mile 12.2. So real quick, I just got a comment on this throttle. It's really a big deal. So this might be, you know, something that you see as really great or really bad, honestly. When you press on this throttle, there is a significant delay, and it does like really ramp up that power kind of relatively slowly. So I mean, if you're looking for safety and something that's not going to give you all the power at once and just be gentle and easy, that is going to be very good for this AVENTURE bike. But if you just want access to all that power more quickly, the AVENTURE could be a little bit of a disappointment for you in that regard. There have been a few times when I'm riding this bike where I just kind of wish it would give me more power faster. But also, you know, it has kind of been nice that it's not like jerking me around too. So I don't know what the right answer is here. So this is really weird. I went to the gym, now showing 1.2 miles on the odometer, although I swear it said 12 before. I guess I'll just keep riding and see what it looks like later. So just like every other e-bike, this one's starting to lose a little bit of steam here with 45% left on the battery. Now we're going 15 miles per hour under pedal assist 4. Well, that's kind of annoying. The bike, I turned the bike off when I went to the gym. Now I turned it back on and it like reset the top speed to 20. So I have to go back in here and redo those settings. I don't know if you have to redo them every single time. So let's check the final range. So looking at my final range numbers here, so this is 7.2. We got to subtract about what, 1.2, so 6 miles plus around 12 or 13. That puts me at about 18 or 19 miles with 30% on the battery remaining. So I was basically just out there ripping, you know, I wasn't really pedaling too much. You know, if I ran this thing down to 0, I'd say I'd probably get about 30 miles of range. And I mean, I was like really out there putting this thing through its paces, you know, giving it like top speed tests, acceleration tests, brake tests, a lot of stop and go, and relying on the thumb throttle a lot. And I weigh 195 pounds. So I'd say, you know, if you actually pedaled this thing and weren't maxing it out the whole time you were riding it, you could easily do the 45 miles of range as claimed. So I took this bike out for a second range test where I did thumb throttle only. Pretty much I just cruised at like 20 miles per hour and I didn't pedal at all. So let me show you what kind of range I got on that test. Doing a second little range test here today, starting out 0 miles, 95% battery. on the Aventon. So I'm into this ride about 4.5 miles. I've been using basically thumb throttle only. So it dropped me from 95% battery down to 79% battery. So using the Aventure like a moped style bike, basically like a mini motorcycle, noticing two things. The lag on the thumb throttle assist is a little bit more annoying when you're using this thing basically as like a motorcycle only. So I'm at about the halfway point of my ride under thumb throttle only, 6.2 miles, 74%. Cruising along here, thumb throttle 20. Gotta tell you, the hardest part about this thumb throttle is this little soreness I get to feel, this burning pinch right here. Kind of one downside of thumb throttles. Just made it back from exactly a 12-mile ride under throttle only. Basically the whole time cruising at like 20 miles an hour. I weigh 195 pounds, 48% on the battery left. It was 95 when I started. So it took almost 50% of the battery to basically ride this thing like a motorcycle. 20 miles an hour, holding it down all the way the whole time. So here's my pros and cons and summary of the Aventon Aventure. I couldn't decide whether to put the throttle lag in the pros or cons, so I'll just throw that in a neutral section here in the beginning, because when you do use that thumb throttle, you do not get access to all the power of the bike immediately. The pro of that is it will make for a smoother ride and you'll get better range. But the downside is if you need that power on a steep hill and your bike is at a stop, you just can't get all of the power immediately. Okay, so let's talk about the pros of the Aventure. One of the great things about this bike compared to most budget-friendly electric bikes is this bike comes in multiple frame sizes. I'm 6'5", so I got the large, and this bike is comfortable and fits me well. Also, relative to most budget bikes, this bike looks great. Another pro is this bike is relatively nimble for a fat tire e-bike, and that's due to the relatively light battery and the geometry of the frame. The Aventon Aventure has excellent Zoom hydraulic disc brakes. In previous years, I guess those brakes came from a relatively obscure manufacturer, but now they use Zoom disc brakes. Another pro of the Aventure is this bike is fast. It ships as a Class 2 e-bike. On mine, all I had to do is log in with the Bluetooth app and I could mod that speed up to almost 33 miles per hour, which was insane. I had a blast riding this. So another pro of Aventon is a well-known brand. That means if you have problems with it, your local bike shop is much more likely to work on it. The display is great and the side mount battery is awesome compared to mounting a battery underneath the frame. The last thing on my list of pros is the 3 amp charger. This will allow you to charge your battery much faster than a 2 amp charger. It's like a 50% difference. Moving on to the cons of the Aventon Aventure, I'd have to say the suspension and the fork leaves more to be desired. And while there are pros to the battery size only being 15 amp hours, which is respectable, there are definitely fat tire e-bikes that come with bigger batteries than 15 amp hours at a lower price. So if long range is what you want out of your fat tire e-bike, 15 amp hours might leave a little bit more to be desired. Another thing in the list of cons is probably the hill climbing ability of the Aventure. The Aventure wasn't really able to fully complete the 20% grade incline hill test from a stop, and I have test rode other e-bikes that were able to do it that did cost less. Not to say that the Aventure is weak, because it could pretty much almost do the 20% grade incline. On the flip side of this coin, it does seem like the hub motor is kind of geared more for high speed than low speed torque in hill climbing. Come to think of it, it actually does both pretty well. Also, this bike does have a cadence sensor, so on the list of cons, I'd have to say there is no torque sensor. At this price point, I have seen other fat tire electric bikes that have bigger batteries and also a torque sensor. And there really is no question about it, a torque sensor is just better than a cadence sensor. Ultimately, the Aventure has a lot of good things going for it, but when you look at the specs, you do end up paying a little bit more in terms of dollar per performance. If this review has helped you make a purchasing decision to buy this bike, please consider buying through the link below this video. Buying through that link will help support Tail Happy TV, and I would greatly appreciate your support. If you're not ready to buy the Aventure, watch this video and I'll catch you there. And if you do have this bike already, please share your experience with this bike and what the reliability has been like down in the comments below.